Hello, and welcome to a special meditation experience with Paige Gilchrist. That is the culmination of our virtual fundraiser on December 1. Paige has been part of our Autumn Harvest of Yoga team and has been sharing meditation with our community over the last several months. She's a delightful teacher from Asheville, and we'd love to introduce her and some of the special things about the way Paige teaches. So welcome, Paige, to our community for the fundraiser, as well as the healing benefits of yoga.
Oh, thanks, Howie. It's great to be here. Hello, everyone.
Could you share about some of your history and focus and what you're doing these days and how you are?
Sure. Yes. Thank you. Well, as you said, I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and I've been teaching yoga for about a decade. And so I used to teach in studios. Now I teach online and have an emphasis in more therapeutic styles of yoga. I also have a podcast called Embodied Meditation, which offers the kinds of practices that I do with You Call This Yoga. So the meditation combined with gentle movement and embodiment practices. And prior to the pandemic, I was teaching, had a special focus on teaching the incarcerated populations. So I taught in a men's prison and coordinated programs at our county detention facility for men and women. And it's a real hole in my life that I'm not able to do that in person anymore. And so I'm so grateful to You Call This Yoga for offering other ways to share yoga with populations who may not always have access to it. It's a real gift.
Thank you, Paige, because for us, it's also been a pretty clamping down of the populations that we've risked, as they've been vulnerable populations too. Veterans, people touched by cancer, all these subgroups. So if you were to offer one general tip for anyone curious about meditation and what it may be like to get ready to practice that on the simplest of level, what would you offer them?
Well, I would offer exactly what you said, Howie. I think it is simple. Maybe it doesn't always feel that way, but I feel that we can turn something like meditation or a yoga practice into a big project and something that seems ominous or foreign or difficult, something that you have to have a lot of special training for or a lot of special equipment for. And I think actually it's nice to relax that a little bit and think about both the physical practice of yoga and the more contemplative practices of yoga as being available in these little small bite-sized chunks. You know, if you can sit and get quiet and centered, perhaps with the help of a practice that we offer through You Call This Yoga, for a minute, it can do wonders. It doesn't have to be, an hour-long meditation practice. You don't have to go off to a fancy retreat. You really can incorporate these things into your regular daily life. So just seeing it that way would be a big tip that I have and that I practice myself.
Hmm. Well, for the viewers, I'm just going to give them a little flash of a moment of Zen to see that we do have some greenery here, but it doesn't make for good lighting. And to know that little moments of Zen are accessible, and it's all relative Zen. Uh, for me, I sit on a chair and I'm nestled in with pillows, and my back is supported because I have a lot of postural issues, and just connecting with my body in all sides, whether it be laterally, back, and even downward into the ground and seat. So it is the practice of, for me, of being aware of where am I in the slightest of way. That is my yoga for the 30 minutes that I attempt to practice.
A great recommendation, and I think maybe folds into another tip, which is to give ourselves the gift and the luxury of actually being in our bodies, noticing how they're feeling, where they are in space, what they need to feel supported and alive, so that we can tap into those, as you say, little moments of Zen.
Yeah, and there's also moments of angst. In fact, I probably have more angst than Zen proportionally when I meditate, which is why I have tissues nearby. So,
Good for you for sticking with it, though. I think that's another misconception, that we think meditation ought to feel like, rainbows and unicorns all the time. And that's not necessarily so. And in fact, not even the goal, just sort of sitting with what is and watching what happens to it as we simply allow it to be can be a pretty powerful and transformative practice.
yes, uh, I take it as the practice, not necessarily how I feel when the chimes go off, because it's just part of this total picture of how am I managing my life,
Mm.
and it's almost a steady thing in that it's going to happen at a certain time each day. So it's been a year, so that's been novel for me. Uh, and you
Wonderful.
say, "Wow, you don't look like you just started yoga," uh, but maybe I just have. Uh, I had to suffer enough to find that meditation had even more value than before. So viewers, observers, whether it's December 1 is the culmination of the event or beforehand or after, we do seek your support in sharing these healing practices. They're helping Paige and I, and surely they can help you. Of course, we don't want to call you Shirley unless that's your name. But if you donate on December 1st, you do qualify for raffles. And we do have one more end of the day raffle that will happen shortly after Paige's class. Um, Paige, can you share other thoughts for teachers as to what might be a reasonable consideration in joining our organization and what's compelling for you?
Oh, well, of course, again, to state the obvious, I found you all once things had moved online. And so, in terms of inviting other teachers to become a part of this, I just think it is this incredible opportunity to reach your worldwide audience and to share the teachings and the tools that have become so important to so many of us with people around the world. We're able to do this in the little pockets of our own communities when we're in person in real life, but you offer this amazing platform to really join as a community and share these practices in a much more broad way. And so that it's a real gift to give teachers that opportunity. It's why many of us got involved in yoga to begin with, not just to be in fancy studios and with people who always have practiced yoga, but to really share these very accessible, very meaningful, really life-changing practices with everyone.
Thank you. Yes, and it's a thrill to be engaging the passionate ones all around. It's been fun to be building a global network that we wouldn't have been doing so rapidly a year ago. We were pretty comfortable in our provincialism, and that has been altered dramatically. It's almost as if another unconscious process came up in our meditation of our life as an organization. Um, so enough of that esoteric stuff. Let's get down to the specifics. What would be something you would categorize as a special experience when one practices meditation with Paige? How is that a little more unique than the average?
Well, I don't know that it's more unique, but I will say that, again, my style is what I call embodied meditation. And so I really do incorporate gentle movement and body awareness with a guided relaxation, visualization, meditation. So it is this whole person experience. And I think that's really accessible to people who may not be comfortable sitting still for long periods of time. I really invite people to position themselves, as you were describing, in any way that supports their bodies. So some people practice with me lying down, some people in chairs. We even do some standing meditation practices sometimes. So really a whole body experience and that connection of mind and body in meditation.
Fascinating, and I can appreciate the concept of a standing meditation. Uh, can you describe that? Because that could be a pretty unique way. What might be happening in a standing meditation?
Yeah, so we might just be using what we call in yoga mountain pose, Tadasana, and really using that as a way to center and ground and stabilize. So, beginning with feeling our feet on the earth, both planting and drawing some of that energy up from the earth, and maybe moving through how the body is arranging itself on top of that steady kind of holding quality of the earth. What's relaxing? What's engaging, how the breath is moving through that shape, and how we feel kind of as a steady, centered force right there.
Hmm. I can picture doing that in the kitchen, standing at the counter with my palms up. I'm a big palms up guy because it opens the chest, and I have a lot of neck and spine issues. So I'm always trying to find where is my anatomy.
Yeah.
And a standing meditation is a wonderful concept. And hopefully, the people that are listening will start to implement that, because it isn't just a totally seated, cross your legs, sit on the floor experience. And I'll testify to that.
Doesn't have to be. There's real value in that, but there are other doorways in. Of course, walking meditation has long been a tradition in the meditation realm. So lots of ways we can tap into that place of feeling present and connected.
Excellent. Well, viewers, we'd love for you to tap into your support for our organization and the mission that we have to provide accessible yoga and enhance your well being. We're culminating the December 1 virtual fundraiser with Paige, though hopefully you'll continue with our yoga feast on the Facebook page, finding pages of Paige's classes in there, as well as our teacher team and partners. So we're going to thank Paige for being part of this event, as well as our ongoing sharing, and that if you'll stay continued, make another donation if possible, and enjoy Paige's class.
Thanks, Howie.
Thank you too, Paige, for being part of our team of all-stars.